Hey guys, today I want to talk about staying safe in the Philippines. Philippine safety is of the utmost concern. And I'm going to talk about all kinds of safety. First of all, I want to talk about vaccinations, okay? And I know everybody hates talking about vaccinations, but I'm just going to talk for a second here. Over here, make sure you have your vaccinations such as Hep B and any other ones you think you might need, okay? There's a whole bunch. You can look up what's needed and also carry your WHO vaccination card with you over here. You know, or put it in your house and make sure you have it around so you can have a track record of all your vaccinations, including your COVID vaccinations, plus have your COVID vaccination card with you, okay? The other thing is, a lot of people talk about crime over here. Hey Steve, is crime really an issue? Can you get robbed there? You know, is it pretty regular to have a crime happen to you? No. In most areas, unless you live around some places in Tondo or possibly some areas of Manila, for the most part, you're pretty safe here. Can your house get broken into sometimes? Yes. You definitely want to put put two locks on your door. Put the deadbolt lock on your door. Have that as a safety on there. Make sure you have bars over your windows. But for the most part, I never had any issues here with anybody stealing much. I mean, I think sometimes people borrow things and they don't return them, which is different than stealing, and then they just forget to return it. That happens quite often, okay? That's not stealing, it's borrowing. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about that. And also I want to talk about, when we talk about agreements, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Be careful with agreements, legal agreements, things like that. Make sure you get it notarized when you sign it. And make sure both you and whoever you're going into an agreement with, it's done in front of a legal notary, so you can say, look, they read it, they signed it in front of a notary, it's good. So that way there, no judge can throw it out saying, well, she or he is saying that they never signed this, that you signed it. That way there, you don't have an issue. Be careful on documentation like that. Make sure you have everything, every single detail in there that you want in there to protect yourself. Some of these people, they might sign a lease and maybe they're not making the payments to the bank, so it might be in bankruptcy and they're still collecting rents. So that stuff you have to be careful. That also means you have to be careful paying in advance too, because sometimes they could just throw it into bankruptcy and just say, well, I'm not going to make any more payments. I'm going to keep all this money and I'm just going to not worry about it. It's just, they don't care. Does that happen often? No. A lot of people blow things up on the internet here and make foul comments or whatever about, the Philippines is just a big con state or something like that, and everybody's getting conned and ripped off. You want to know something? For the most part, most people don't. Sometimes it's usually just a misunderstanding, but then the American makes it out bigger than what it is, or the Westerner makes it out bigger than what it really is. And usually it's not that big. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding, and the Filipino is afraid to say something to you because they don't want to get yelled at, and they try to avoid controversy with people. It's part of the way that they're built from 350 years of being subjected to, the Spanish and other people that have subjected them and kept them down. That's part of it. And I, unfortunately, it's kind of ingrown after being that way for 350 years. They're afraid to argue. So be sure that there's no misunderstandings when there's an agreement, and say, hey, listen, what's up? Say, you could tell me. I'm not going to yell or scream or get angry or anything like that. Just tell me what's going on with the agreement. Why is there a problem now? And if there's a problem, sometimes, you can usually fix it or agree to fix things. I've seen people fix some of these agreements and they're okay. Are there problems with agreements sometimes? Hell yeah, there is. But for the most part, no, there's no problems with that. The other thing is, be safe with your girlfriend. Make sure you pick a decent woman that's not out there doing something illegal, because they can drag you into it sometimes. It could be anything from stealing, prostitution on the side, things like that. I've had some expat friends tell me that the girlfriend actually had a boyfriend on the side. Another one was prostituting on the side. She was actually going out to visit customers and then coming home with her boyfriend after being with a customer and actually servicing the customer. It's kind of disgusting, but the guy found out When she went to take a shower, she left her phone open, and the guy said something about giving her $200 for tomorrow night or whatever, and he confronted her and says, "Hey, what's this here? You know, why are you talking to this guy?" And I guess he looked through the whole string there. She was a prostitute. So don't think that your girlfriend's Miss Goody Two-Shoes all the time, because you know what? They're not always Miss Goody Two-Shoes. There's a lot of issues that go on. And that issue that I just told you, that happened a while back that somebody told me about that. You know, and also I had another friend of mine. He was with a girl, and the girl had a boyfriend, and he found out about it, and he actually talked to the boyfriend and told he friended him on his Facebook or whatever, and started talking back and forth about a way to fix the girl. And they kind of really burned her pretty good. Both of them did. So she ended up losing 2 boyfriends. So that ended that situation. But it's, is that common here with the girls? Kinda. You kind of have to be careful here, because, and also some of these girls can be kind of angry or moody, or they're just not trustworthy in some respects. But the majority of women here are. So I don't want to, that 5% or 3% or 10% or whatever it may be, it seems like it's very more prevalent than what it is, but it's probably about 5 or 10%, because most of the guys here, you know what, they do really, really good. They meet a decent girl, they're happy, and if they don't, they break off and they move on. Some of these girls will make it hard when you try to break off, though. Be careful of that. They'll try to accuse you of something, or go down to the barangay or whatever. You don't need that in your life. Go down to the barangay when you're breaking off with a girl and say, "Hey, listen, she's threatened to give me a hard time. I just want to let you guys know in advance. I've never done anything to this girl. I want to let you know because I think she's trying to set me up." That way there, somebody knows. Somebody's being told, hey, this could happen. This could be expected. So if she tries to get onto the barangay to file something on you that you did something, they're going to tell her to get lost. And most of the barangay officials, unless they're her relatives, they'll listen to you. They'll listen. That's the problem of living in a place where your girlfriend has a lot of contacts in a barangay. Okay, it can happen. I've heard it from other people. I've heard it from somebody down in Davao that had that situation happen to them. It happens. I'm lucky. My girlfriend does have some people that she knows in the city, and it's worked for us more so than against us, because it helps us with getting things done for people, helping people, help to get documents, things, all that stuff. So when you're over here, guys, play it safe. Food-wise, don't eat from street food places. You're probably going to end up getting sick. You probably need to have some Imodium D with you. And by the way, carry Imodium D with you. Carry something for headaches. You're going to get sick once in a while. When you get food poisoning over here, let me tell you something. It's the worst thing that can happen to you. I was in the hospital for 2 days with food poisoning. I know what it's like. It's not fun, okay? Always, always, always play it safe with food. I've gotten sick at some of the big burger chains here because people weren't clean. And, you get the runs for 2 or 3 days or whatever. That's why you need Imodium D. Carry it in a backpack or a fanny pack or whatever all the time with you. If you feel a little bit funny in your stomach, you don't need that on a jeepney or a bus ride, let me tell you. It's the worst, most uncomfortable feeling that you can ever have. And sometimes it can be resolved with 2 Imodium D. And boom, it's gone. It just goes away, and you start feeling comfortable. And you don't want to have a mess on a bus or a jeepney or in a taxi or a Grab or whatever. God help you. You can only imagine. I've heard one other expat that did have a mess like that happen, and it's embarrassing. And word gets out, and then you got to listen to that crap for a couple of weeks and possibly a month, and it just makes for a miserable month or whatever, with all the gossip and chismes going around about you. It's a mess. But anyway, guys, God bless. Stay safe. If there's one place you can stay safe the most, jeepneys. And be careful of cabbies, okay? Most of the Grabs are pretty decent, but be careful of cabs that are trying to, keep the meter off. They don't want to turn the meter on for you. Tell them, say, listen, I'm not riding unless the meter's on. You don't put the meter on, I don't ride. They say, well, we're not putting the meter on. Get out of the car. Just say, then I'm not riding with you. Go. You can go empty then. Bye. And don't try to let them talk you back into it. Just say, no, I'm done. You lost me as a customer. And then just hop in the next cab. You'll be fine. Don't play with people like that, because otherwise you can't trust them. You can't trust them. You couldn't trust them in the beginning. Why would you trust them if they try to negotiate with you? Just let it go and try to get a different cab. Play it really safe. That's the best way to do it, guys. Anyway, guys, take care. God bless.